Alright guys, so I ran an experiment last night with my fan off the battery box, and it was all the way charged up, and it's already charged up now. I've had it in the sun all day. So ran the test, and started my fan about 9:30 last night, and at 6 o'clock this morning it shut off. The power inverter shuts off when the voltage gets down to roughly 10.2, 10.3, and it still had 49 amp hours still left in the battery. So this charge controller does shut off around, I would say 10.2, 10.1, somewhere in there, but the battery was only at 49 amp hours. So it ran for 50 amp hours for roughly, I don't know, 12 hours ish. No, 10 hours. 10 hours. So a that's a good test actually. So the battery here is, let's see what the volts, 13.4, 13.30. So that's pretty accurate. 13.30. So it shows that it's not fully charged, but it's fully charged. So that was the quick test of it. I was hot all day, so I didn't remember anything until I started watching videos. So you could run this if the charge controller wasn't getting down so low. So I really don't know how low we can run these batteries without. You can run them down to 0%. So I still have 10 volts left in the battery, so I don't know how low you can go before if it damages it. Like I said, they're two Re-Odo batteries. Let me show you. I'll do the box here. There they are, Re-Odo. And I had to pay for these, so I'm not going to do any kind of low testing on them or anything like that, because I think I paid, no, these were a couple years ago, so $279, $379, something, I don't remember. They were a whole lot cheaper now than it was back then. But I'm not going to do those kind of testing on it and screw up the battery, then I'm out the money, so there we go. But yeah, real quick test. The inverter stops at 10.2, shuts off. I still have 49 amp hours, so and then my future system. So Wednesday, today's Monday, the 23rd. So the 25th. Ooh, that's a nice wind coming through there. That's a nice breeze. I had to open my window. So my 400 watt solar panels are coming in on Monday. I can't wait for that. Probably take me a couple weeks to build the. I can't mount it to the. I have a flat roof up here, so I can't mount it to the roof. So I got to mount it to a wooden frame, and then when I set the wooden frame onto the top of the roof, I got to put some kind of mat down. I don't want to damage the roof. I don't want to. It's not my roof. The owners let me put something up there, so I got to protect it the best I can. And I put some sandbags up on there so the wind won't blow it. So I should be fine unless no tornado comes through here. So I'm going to go to a 24 volt system. And then this is the future reference. And then I'm going to go with all DC appliances. DC refrigerator, I already have a small one. DC hot plate. I'm going with all DC equipment. Eventually I'm going to get me a DC. I was looking at the EcoFlow Wave 2. I like that, but I just don't have that kind of money. You're talking about $1,000 for that and the battery and all that. I just don't have that. But eventually it's going to be DC, and I run a Nobi. I will have some power inverters here, of course, but I'm going to have a DC charger. Just everything's going to be DC. I'm trying to eliminate AC much as possible. So when I do move out in my van, my truck, when I do move out in the camper or whatever, when I get away from, I want to try to get away from AC as much as possible. I know some things I probably won't be able to do very well, but I'm looking into. I know I can get a hot plate DC. I know I can get a little small oven DC. The only thing I'm going to miss is an air fryer. So I might have to keep a 2,000 watt power inverter around for an air fryer. But besides that, I can get fans that run DC. Everything's almost DC. So there's a quick update. 49 amp hours left before the power inverter shut off, and it was at 10, let's say 10 volts, 10.2. So there's that. So you guys have a great day.